Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a very special guest, Florian over from Kanaloa Network. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's
Kanaloa,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
That's great. So he is the head of business operations. That is also correct.
Yes,
And
that's also
we're
correct.
going to be taking a look at their great project that I do very much like myself. So how are you doing? Thank you for taking your time out and coming over to the channel. Do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. I'm doing great. We are in the final preparations of the beta release, so there's a lot of things happening at the same time. But yeah, we're doing great and having fun.
Okay, great. So would you mind going into detail a bit about yourself, your background? How did you get involved with the projects for some people who aren't aware of the project at all, and just start off the basis?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Florian Pfeiffer. I come from Switzerland. I'm now 30 years old, and I worked as a startup consultant in the family business for 6 years now, 7 years, yeah. And before that, I worked as the insurance consultant, especially for company insurances, business insurances, and pension funds, and the mixture of those two things brought me into crypto. And the fact that where I'm living in Switzerland is Zug, and the city itself has stated 2 years ago, I think, that the goal is to become the crypto hotspot #1 in the world.
Really?
So they have a lot of supportive legislation, and a lot of the government supports you if you have a good crypto idea. So with this knowledge and working with startups in Switzerland for close to 7 years now, yeah, it was kind of the next logical step to create a platform that opens the world of crypto to startups. And every crypto project basically was a startup at some point, but it needs, let's say, you need to be kind of bold to jump into this industry. And there are a lot of, on the one side, regulatory hurdles, or more like I mentioned that before, the lack of regulatory measurements. Yeah. It's almost harder. A lot of people think no regulations is the best. Yay. For a long-term business strategy, no regulations isn't the best, because you don't know if what you're planning now is okay in 5 years, and stuff like that. So considering that, and the fact that the technical hurdle to create a smart contract was so big and so also financially intensive, that you exclude a huge group of people from the market. At the same time, small and medium enterprises generate around 70% of the income worldwide. So you're excluding a huge margin of people and money from the market. And we all talk about mass adoption, mass adoption, mass adoption. So for us, my team and me, it was basically a logical step to create a platform where you and I can start a project if you have an idea, without needing $2 million in funding to get some devs working and stuff like that. So that's how it started, like a year ago. And then we launched in August the coin itself, and now product release. Yeah, the token was first week of August, and now we are in the midst of releasing the beta of our token generator.
Yeah, okay, great. So now moving into your project's name, so Kanaloa Network. I know you guys are into myths and space creatures and stuff. Would you care to explain how did you come up with the name, and what was the origin behind the name?
Yeah, we took the name from Kanaloa. The meaning comes from the Hawaiian mythology. And Kanaloa in the Hawaiian mythology is basically the proto-god that is the last survivor of the old universe, and by coming here then created the new universe. So that's basically, and it fitted our mission statement perfectly, because what I mentioned before, we're trying to bring in a huge part of the general financial market, but we're also doing that with a new token standard. It's not our token standard. Nick Much came up with it, and it solves so many problems that the old quote unquote crypto world has. So yeah, that's how it spoke to us, like, yeah, that's what we are. That's our mission statement. So we took it from the Hawaiian mythology in the end.
That sounds great. That sounds great. All right, so we're gonna jump into the website real quick. So straight off the bat, we do see these space creatures on the right. So are they specifically drawn from any mythologies, or did you just guys come up with your own ones?
Yes, these are all original ideas and original concepts. Again, we had our mascot basically always was a space kraken, and then looking through inspiration for name and stuff like that, we found Kanaloa, which is a space kraken. So in the classic mythology, it gets depicted as a kraken coming from space. So our main monster is clearly inspired by the original Kanaloa depiction, but all the other monsters are based on, let's say, Lovecraftian horror stories on a world scale. So I'm a creative writer as well. I wrote comic books, and the art production is from professional comic book artists I worked with before, and which I consider good friends of mine. So the direction those guys got was basically create world-ending monsters, because we are telling in the background to keep the community. The community is a huge part for us. I mean, before I became a biz staff, I was a community member, right? So spending a lot of time in crypto communities and in Telegram groups and stuff like that, I learned pretty fast that projects and companies not listening to the community or not watching the community and not being responsive to it, you can have the best product. If nobody knows that you have a product, you're worthless. So having a good community was always one of our main mission goals. And for that, we have the NFTs. So we always wanted to have our use case NFTs look very, very pretty. And at the same time, again, I'm a creative writer, so I love to tell stories. So we developed an ongoing NFT comic book series that will drop Easter eggs for development and stuff like that in a fictional setup, right? So you can follow that. It's not like an official update or anything, but if you are part of the community, if you follow the storyline, if you know what's going on, you can pick up certain clues from what's happening in there.
That's kind just of like a side quest for the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do love the depth. I do love the depth. And like you said, having a great community is a key part of any successful business, whether that's crypto or anything else, like in the video game industry or wherever it is, right?
Absolutely.
You need to have a connection with your community. Otherwise, if there's a disconnection, like you're not going to be as good as you could have been, right?
Yeah. In the end, you are trying to sell a product, and if you are not knowing what the people think that buy your product, then how can you serve them, right? So the feedback loop there is very important to us.
All right. So Kanaloa Network, the nebula of DeFi. So the nebula of DeFi. First off, I thought that meant that was the star that connects all the stars around it, but actually when I looked it up, it actually meant that it's like a gas cloud, right? That you can see from the sky. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, a nebula is basically a nursery for stars. So I'm not sure how familiar you are with physics in space, but to simplify it a lot, gravity is what creates every star, planet, whatever. And for gravity, before gravity can start acting, the molecules and everything is in a cloud, right? And in this cloud, gravity starts to act, and the cloud gets denser and denser and denser at certain points, to the point where it ignites, or part of it ignite, and voila, you have a new star. So the whole Milky Way galaxy basically was a cloud, was a nebula at one point. And then through time and gravity and motion and stuff like that, all those cloud particles became stars and planets and asteroids and a whole lot of nothing in between. So that's also, it comes from, we love the space monster theme, we love the Lovecraftian horror, we love the bigger than life things, but also a nebula is where new stars are born. And with the platform we are building, that again fits us perfectly. We try to be the place where the ether of tomorrow started, right? It's not like, yeah, we are going to be the ether killer. No. We are going to be the place where the next ether comes from. And if this industry goes anywhere, that's where you have to basically set yourself up. So that's the idea behind the whole nebula thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like I said, a lot of depth. I do love it. So, reading next about us on the page, Kanaloa Network is a decentralized finance token and blockchain solutions provider focused on lowering the technical barrier and broadening the gateway into the world of DeFi. Kanaloa Network is the nebula of DeFi, as we just talked about, providing casual users an array of user-friendly products and the ability to safely participate in the exciting world of blockchain and decentralized finance with ease. Okay, and yeah, I did take a look at the NFTs. The NFTs look pretty freaking cool, to be honest with you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was the goal. The goal was to not only have, basically to combat the meme that NFTs are JPEGs, because they're not, all right? So anybody that knows anything about blockchain knows that's not true, but the meme is still there. So for us, it was very, very important that each NFT works as a key. So access to either fee redistribution from the network itself. So people that generate tokens or trade on our platform, NFTs or whatever that will be doing in 22, they pay for it in Kana. And 90% of that Kana gets redistributed to holders. And these holders are not just Kana holders, but people that stake their NFTs. And the NFTs give you access to those stacking pools.
Oh, okay.
Same goes for farming. The governance token also works through an NFT. So each of these NFTs is not only a pretty picture, but also has a very specific access point to the network and use case, exactly.
All right, just scrolling through the webpage. What do we do? Kanaloa's custom diamond token generator, NFT staking mechanism, RFI-friendly DEX, and contract auditing tools will allow users of all experience levels to realize the full potential of DeFi with a few clicks of a button. Now, as pretty much a lot of the people on the internet right now, I'm learning about NFTs myself and getting into the technology. I'm working on an NFT set myself with a friend of mine. And we're trying to bring some utility to it as well. So it's really exciting at the minute. But here you have the custom diamond token generator, and I was very excited to hear what that incorporates and what it actually means. So what is a token generator? Because not only but I think a lot of people watching the video won't know what that means. So if you could elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah, for sure. A token generator our token generator will allow you to create your own tokens or currency. So like Kana, if you want to start your own project and need a token contract for that, you have two options at the moment. You either find a friend that's a dev, or you copy something from somewhere. And our token generator, there are other token generators out there, but our token generator focuses on the EYP 2535 standard. It's the diamond standard. This standard differentiates itself from other standard ERC20 tokens by it's highly adaptable. So it's built modular, which gives users, like if you are starting your own NFT project, and what I mentioned before, we don't know how regulations look in 5 years, which makes it extremely hard to plan what we're going to do in 5 years.
Yeah.
And if you told somebody NFTs are the big thing in 2021, to even if they are in crypto, to someone in 2017, they probably wouldn't know what you were talking about. Meaning the industry changes so fast. I mean, NFTs came, the concept came, I think, in 2017, and it took it 5 years, and it exploded basically out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like these cycles always happen, and they happen in every industry, but in crypto, they are so fast. So instead of basically starting a new project or starting a new coin for every idea you have, you will be able to just add modules or subtract modules and restructure the functionality of your token to what's needed from a regulatory perspective, from a business perspective, or from an idea perspective. So you can always build up on what you've already built.
Okay. And one thing I wanted to ask as well is here below the what we do section, you do have deflationary. So this means your token will be deflationary. And from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to be burning a part of the fee, and the other part will be sent to the NFT stakers, right? Is that right?
That's correct. The deflatory part of the token comes from the network usage. So everything you do on our platform will be paid in Kana. And the part of that Kana goes again into the stacking pools for the NFT stakers. And another part of that goes into operations. And 2% at the moment from, for example, the token generator get burned forever. Therefore, deflating the supply slowly but surely over the time. The goal here is to, again, it comes from before I started the crypto project, I was making a lot of money with farming. If it's liquidity farming, if it's token farming, whatever. And one of the huge issues you have all over crypto is sustainability.
Yeah,
it's a bit of an on-word, and it doesn't fit to most projects, but the stigma of everything being just a new coded Ponzi scheme is not coming from nowhere, meaning that a lot of the tokenomics we find these days aren't sustainable over years. You cannot pay 7,000% APY by minting tokens and expect these tokens to be worth anything in like 2 months. That's just math. That just doesn't work. So instead of setting up tokenomics that force the token to be burned at certain points or to be minted at certain points and stuff like that, we set our focus on sustainability by usage of the network. So the more the network gets used, the more fees get redistributed, the more tokens get burned because the network gets used. If the network doesn't get used, there's no unnecessary burns, there's no unnecessary fee redistribution, and there are no APYs that cannot be sustained. If the network goes nuts, you can have APYs of 7,000% for that month, just because the network usage was that high. It then can be that the next month is 0% because for some reason nobody uses the network. These are two extremes, of course, but yeah, having it flexible, made flexible like this gives the users of the network and the holders of Kana, you don't have to expect dumps from somewhere because farmers farmed everything to death, or have to expect huge spikes in prices because yeah, nobody uses the platform, but they're gonna have to burn 5 million Kana this month or something like that. So the goal is that it's all self-sustaining and working how much it gets used.
Yeah, and you do have a governance token as well called Khan, but a lot of people say Kane, right? So
yep,
is it Kane or Khan?
I think the correct pronunciation according to Hawaiian mythology is Khan or Kane. Yeah. I think, but yeah, I also tend to be the guy that says Kane.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it comes from the mythical figure from the Bible, the first guy who murdered someone, Cain. I think that's in our Western society triggers that.
Well, I get triggered with Cain from WWE. If you watch.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, totally. So yeah, I think correct. It would be Khan. Yes, the governance token is, as soon as we have set up the whole thing, the goal is, again, the community is the main part, and the goal is to then basically give the governance and the planning of the network back to the community through this governance token. So holder of the governance token will be able to propose changes through the network, be it theory distribution stuff or be it new products and stuff like that, and vote on these proposals. This will happen as soon as the base structure of the network is set up, and we basically can give the scepter back to the community.
Okay, yeah, and the reason I asked because I did research a bit, but I do forget. So you launched with 800 million tokens of the Kana tokens, right? And you had a fair launch. Now, could you care to explain what a fair launch or fair distribution is?
Yes, we had a proto token before that was fair launched, and meaning there is no pre-sale, there is no dev wallet, there is basically we took the token, and when putting up the liquidity, we put all of the token into the liquidity. So everything was available for sale from the beginning. And then after we did that, we, the team, bought dev wallet, personal tokens, etc., off the market for whatever price the market price was at that moment, right? So this is what people call a fair launch, meaning there are no privileged parties involved that get a pre-sale discount or private allocations or VC allocations and stuff like that. For us, it was important towards the community. It makes business operations a bit more complicated because, again, everything is so far paid by us because we couldn't print ourselves 100 million Kana that we then can dump on the holders to finance development. That's just not how it works, right? So that's what the fair launch is, and a lot of tokens do that, especially a lot of meme tokens do that. We did that with the proto token we had, and then as soon as the Kana was ready, we had a token migration. And from the token migration, that's where the 800 million come from. The proto token had a supply of 800 million at the moment of the migration, and only 620 million actually got migrated, which led us then to burn 100 million Kana by end of the swap. So at the moment we have a total supply of 620 million Kana, and we burned 180 million Kana that weren't swapped. So yeah, the supply is now much lower.
Yeah, and the supply of the governance token is pretty much the opposite of what the Kana supply is, right? So it's something like 50,000 or 40,000. Correct me if I'm wrong.
50,000. That's correct. Yeah. The goal is here. While Kana is a utility token, and the goal is to have it be usable as payment for whatever on the platform and for NFTs and stuff like that. So having a rather high number that doesn't have us run into a Kana being $150 by end of the year. So, as much as I would love that, it would defeat the purpose of the token itself, right? So that's why there's a rather high number on that. On the other hand, Kane is much more voting power. This is a token that will give you access and power throughout the network. So there has to be a hurdle of sorts, and we don't want to give out. We want to spread out voting power throughout the community, but not to everybody. Right? You have to kind of walk on the edge of the knife there, because you have to figure out how much makes sense. And so that's the functional part of the low supply. Also, from the mythology perspective, Kane is the half brother or brother of Kanaloa, and works as its conscience.
Yeah.
And is basically the second half of Kanaloa. So that's why the governance token is named that. And these two guys are also the pure opposite of each other, right? It's almost a yin and yang kind of kind of depiction. So that's also why we thought, okay, it fits the functionality, and it also fits the storyline to have a much shorter supply, and that allows Kane to be worth much more per coin in the end.
Yeah, so that the people who are actually involved in the community and in the network can get those benefits by owning the Kane token, right?
Exactly,
So there's less supply and more demand. Yeah, it sounds great. All right, so I do want to jump into some partnerships. So I do see Powered by Reef. I did actually notice this just before we started recording. I was about to ask about SparkPoint, but we'll get to that in a second. So what can you tell us about your partnership with Reef? How is it exactly powered by Reef, your project, that is?
We are a partner of Reef, that is, and we get quote unquote access to to develop on Reef. And that's also what we will be doing. So a lot of our technology will be available on the Reef chain as soon as that is a possibility. And that's kind of the connection we have with Reef. So Reef also supports us on a technical aspect for exactly that development. So if we need info, we can ask certain people, and we can get support from certain parts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a classic partnership of like big brother, small brother kind of thing. So we will be able to get on the Reef chain, and if we need some support on different fronts, tech-wise and stuff like that, we are able to tap into certain assets of Reef. So we are not the Reef. It's not like I can hire the Reef development team or anything like that. So don't get me wrong. If our devs need to ask some questions or have something, it's we are supported by them, and they're officially put us on our website, on their website and stuff like that, and on a marketing perspective and on a PR communication to the outside, we are a part of the Reef system.
Yeah, and talking about marketing, you have recently started a partnership with SparkPoint, from what I understand. Is that correct? Because SparkPoint is one of my favorite projects, and we do follow it on the channel here religiously. So we do like the project a lot, and it was great to see you partnering up with SparkPoint. What can you say about that particular partnership?
That is also something rather new. We just had an AMA, like before we are doing this here. Just had an AMA there. And yeah, they're also being super supportive with cross-promotion and helping each other out. And it's the same, it goes kind of in the same direction as with Reef, as that the partnership base is based on helping each other out and giving each other a possibility to come forward. So both parties see, let's say, benefits in each other's product, and as 2022 develops, we will see how these partnerships will develop on this front. So you have to figure out the further details there. But at the moment, we are good friends, and I'm having a good time with the guys there. So that's something I really enjoy. Yeah, so we are trying to work things out that all parties can profit from each other. That's kind of the idea with a lot of these partnerships.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because I've seen a lot of interviews with the guys over at SparkPoint, and they seem genuinely like a nice, passionate group of people that really enjoy what they're doing. So it's great to see you partnering up with them. Really is.
Yeah, I love what they're doing, and that's the fun. So we have somebody that helps us out, and he found Spark, or he made the connection to Spark as well, and I'm very thankful for that, because it's cool. There's so much unnecessary stuff in crypto, so it's cool to find those people that actually have ideas and the plan and know what they want to do and stuff like that. So that's looking forward to more from that side.
Yeah. The space is filled with rinse and repeat projects, that pretty much offer nothing new to the table. And in my opinion, 60% of the projects that we have launching right now are going to get wiped in the next couple of years. Because at the start of the year, I think we had something around 8,000 crypto projects on CoinMarketCap. Now I think it's something around about 14,000 projects. So
oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's like, I think it's normal growing pains of an industry you have, and it's necessary that in like 15 years, if somebody starts something, they know, okay, I have to do X, Y, and Z, or X, Y, and Z doesn't work. So yeah, that's thing, but it makes it as a developer in the in the industry, it makes it kind of hard to find good partners, because the other side is, again, we are here. I changed everything in my life for doing Kanaloa. So I had a solid income and a normal job and everything, and I threw everything away to start this project. Not because I like to jump out of planes without a parachute or anything, but because I thought this will change crypto and this will change the world. So it's basically like I kind of felt like I walked into Mark Zuckerberg's garage in 2006. I was like, okay, now I just need to sit down and I'll be set. It's a lot of work, but knowing that it's hard to find, it's important to find good partners, but it's also hard, and we cannot waste our good name by setting up with some partners and 3 weeks later they rock and they're gone.
Exactly.
And next I show my face to the world because I believe in what I'm doing, but so I cannot risk that by partnering up with anybody, and finding people like the Spark crew that take their stuff very serious and bring something to the table and are here to change something, that's always a blessing.
All right, so that I can take that as a no for a partnership with Squid Game Token. All right, well, that's good. Because I think we're all hoping for that, but since you said no, all right, we'll deal with that. Okay, so
later.
We'll get through the roadmap quickly, and I'm just gonna cover some of the points that you have over here, and you can add if you want to add anything. So, Q4 2021. So you have the NFT staking program, the establishing DAO or DAO, Blockfolio listing, Kanaloa Labs, and Kanaloa Academy. Now, what are the Kanaloa Labs and Kanaloa Academy? I'm excited to hear about that.
Those are both basically platform parts. So the Q4 is the one Q that's probably we were up to date on everything until Q3. And now our plans have expanded much more. So this roadmap you're seeing now is getting reworked at the moment and will be extended into 22 and 23. So there will be some changes to that. But what I can say at the moment is, the labs program as well as the academy program are basically extra parts to our network that will allow for certain things. The academy is one thing. Again, we try to break down hurdles and barriers. And one of the big issues I had when I started with crypto is I had no clue about half of it and the lingo, and I'm still learning day by day because the industry is developing so fast, right?
Yeah.
And going into DeFi is a whole nother step. So I think you have like, I don't know, I think it's like 10 million registered addresses or something like that. And I say at least 80% of them do not have contact to any DeFi products because the risk or the learning hurdle to know how a DEX works or how farming works or whatever is so high. I want to set up, I mean, I had to make a video to explain to people basically how they can buy Kana from PancakeSwap. The video how to install MetaMask and connect it to PancakeSwap to buy Kana was 9.5 minutes long. And I was keeping it short. And that's like an issue. If you again, mass adoption, right? So if you expect that my grandma, which will include mass adoption, buys your DeFi token, you kind of have to shorten that video length to like a half a minute. Otherwise, you cannot sell your product. And the Academy is like one step in that direction. It's like when I started, I was overwhelmed with a lot of it, and I had to learn a lot of it by myself. And I was lucky that I got in early enough, so I made a lot of money that I could lose on try and testing stuff. I think I wasted like $5,000 just on how to figure out how certain farm works or what are red flags I have to look for and stuff like that. Most people don't have that luxury. I mean, now I wish I wouldn't have, but at least it was a learning process, right?
Yeah.
And the Academy basically is a platform where people, starting with us, the team at first, giving out advice and making short like videos and tutorials and stuff like that, how to use our platform, but also how to walk safely through the DeFi space. And that will then expand into a full-on academy where we will be onboarding third-party teachers and stuff like that to actually produce a curriculum that gives you a course for like 5 hours, how to start in DeFi, how to do that you as a private person, but also as a small business or stuff like that, want to invest in crypto, you don't need a crypto consultant for $10,000, but you can get a Kanaloa Academy course for 200, and you should be just fine. That's the goal there. The Kanaloa Labs, on the other hand, it comes from our main dev, and it's a platform that almost functions like a Wild West testnet. This will be separate from what's happening on the main chain and with the main network and anything. And it's for our development department, but other developers and people that like to test stuff and have ideas but aren't sure if it works and stuff like that can try out stuff. And there will be a big warning sign in front of the labs, be careful explosions, because we are building tools to make crypto more secure. And this is basically the part where this is explicitly excluded. So here we can test stuff and try out things, and the community can try out programs and stuff and test things, in a lab environment that gives you the possibility to push the envelope.
Yeah, that's great to see. So, from what you said, you're moving forward your roadmap, so we can expect the Kanaloa Labs and Academy be moved to Q1 of 2022. Is that correct? No.
Yeah, it's all on each of those arms has multiple layers and stuff. And
you did cut out.
Have released a list. Oh, sorry.
You got cut out a bit.
Yeah. It's a multi-step process, like all of our products. So the finalization definitely will happen 2022. We started already with the reflective NFT program. If you check chaintotes.com, which is basically the first of our Kana Labs test project, where we test something for our market place afterwards. But and we have put out a few videos and stuff like that on our YouTube channel under the Kanaloa Academy umbrella that teaches basics like how to set up a MetaMask, how to use a pancake swap, etc., etc., etc. So we have already started, but that's not the dimension of the final product. That's like the first steps in both directions have been taken. But we have so much more planned for it that basically capping it by end of the year would make much sense. So yeah, most of the development, even though we started already, most of the development in these two parts will be happening next year.
Yeah, it's great to see you have a lot going on. It really makes me excited about the project because a lot of projects are out there and they're basically doing nothing. And it's really exciting to see how you guys are developing and basically bring mass adoption in the future, hopefully. And like you said, always learning. There's a lot more stuff coming out, especially with the NFTs. You can't know everything about the space, so it's great that we get this luxury, in my opinion, to always learn and yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here if you could know everything.
Yeah,
within the time I've spent here. That it would be boring. So that's the reason why we are all here, right? But yeah, it also brings challenges. So.
Yeah, all right. So that about covers the roadmap. So one last question. So if you came up to a stranger on the streets, basically, and you had one sentence to say something about your project, basically, what would you say to them to get them involved and to get their interest, basically?
Oh, that's a good one. Do you like your life now? If not, check out Kanaloa.
that's great. That's a good one. All right. So, is there anything left you want to add in about the project that we may have missed out during this AMA? Anything you want to add on?
Yeah, I mean, first, thanks for having me. It was
thanks for
real fun. It was a great time.
All mine.
And yeah, I think the big news we have is, as of the recording of this, we are in the last steps of the release of our token generator. So that will be coming within the next hours or days.
Okay.
Yeah, which then gets us really started. So that's like the big secret we have. So it's like, this is like imminent. We are about to push this out. And as always, we have a lot of partnerships and potential future connections and stuff like that in the pipeline and are ready to release. So stay tuned. There will be a lot. A lot will be happening in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, well, there you go, guys. If you have any questions, by the way, make sure to leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, it was a pleasure. Where can we find you? Do you have a Twitter account we can follow? Anything for the viewers to potentially follow you?
Yeah, for sure. You can find me personally at Florian Pfeiffer. That's Paeffer. Then it's 01, I think. But you can find the network is at Kanaloa Network. You should check out that. There will be everything posted. All updates will be posted there, and you can find the link to our Telegram and Discord. I think everything is also there. Telegram is a good place to find us, the team. If you ever have any questions, you can just hop in the Telegram and tag at Hugo the Strange. That's me, and I will do my utmost that I can get back to you as short as possible and answer your questions. So also, it's a big thing for us that we are hands-on with the community. So you will be finding the team in the Telegram chat whenever times allows it. And if you have questions, you're always allowed to tag us. Yeah.
Yeah, and Obviously, all the links are going to be in the description, including their Discord and Telegram. I'll make sure of that so that, you know, it's easy for you guys to find them. Like you said, any questions you got, you can either leave them down below in the comments or go over to the Telegram chat. I really enjoy you guys, you know, really communicating with the community. I think that's one of the best things that, you know, a project can do these days. But, you know, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Guys, we're going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.
See you. Bye-bye.